Hey, welcome back to Wayne Talks. I'm going to talk about something right now, which I was up all last night, and this is, I think, serious about. Something's going on. Our government's not telling us everything. I don't know if any of you know, but I'm actually from Massachusetts. I was born in Massachusetts, and I have a lot of family that live in Boston and around it. So I have feelings about this. I'm not a sympathizer at all with terrorism or the bombings or anything like that, or these kids. But I have to talk about something that I've noticed, and I don't know why it's happening, but something I've seen in our media and something I've seen our government's doing. I'm a firm believer in our government does a lot more stuff than we're even privy to, and we fall for a lot of the crap they tell us. Because I've personally had experiences with things with big government events like this, and that have to do with, the whole terrorism thing and everything. And I've actually, I know for a fact they do things behind our back, and they don't tell us the whole story, and they mislead us and give us false information. Some of which would be for investigative purposes and, to get more information. Others are just downright, childish, if you ask me. Okay. Right now, they're showing on TV, they're saying that the older brother is dead, died of his injuries from he was shot and ran over and blown up or whatever. They're giving us all this crap. Anyway, so supposedly he's dead. Then they're selling us they robbed a 7-Eleven stating it isn't a 7-Eleven. But they show a camera video, surveillance camera video, of the younger brother. Looking at that, of his current look and everything, supposedly from the same night, I was up all night watching this, because when it started breaking, man, I couldn't go to sleep. I had to stay up and watch it. At about 3 a.m. or so, something like that, they were showing that they had the one on the ground with his arms spread, right? He's laying there on the ground with his arms spread. He's got his feet straight back and his feet crossed at the ankles, like the police would have you do, preparing for them to come up and handcuff you or whatnot. The police officers are hanging back. They're not getting close. Okay. Now, supposedly, I would imagine this is the older brother who's now been shot, ran over by a car, and now they had some doctor saying he was blown up. So, anyway, any of that aside, the police briefing just said that he was shot and that he was ran over by his own brother, and that's why he died at the hospital right after. Okay. This guy who was laying in the road last night, which you see that video today, but you don't see the rest of the video, because when I was watching it, it was live. Okay, there was no editing, there was no, cutting parts out or anything like that. This was a live video of him laying in the road with his arms open, and then you see an armored truck pull up, like Humvee or whatever. I think the anchor actually called it a Humvee. I don't think it was. He jumped, all the guys jumped off it, bomb squad type SWAT guys or whatever. They went up, they stripped him naked. They had him stripped naked so that they knew he didn't have a bomb on him. And then they handcuffed him and walked him to the car. I watched this guy naked on the news last night, walked to the car and put in the back of a car. This guy's supposed to be shot, run over, and blown up. How the hell did he walk of his own free will naked? And he's naked. I didn't see blood. I didn't see signs of injury. I didn't see nothing. I just saw this guy walk naked to the back of a car with a cop on either side, so he didn't run away. Okay, looking at the guy that they put in the car, his hair, his face, what he looked like, it was the younger brother. It wasn't the older brother. Now, this is besides the point, though. The fact is they put somebody in a car who was not injured, naked. To me, I think it was the younger brother, not the older brother. Now, friends of mine are telling me about reports that are coming over the scanners in Massachusetts. They were monitoring the police scanners and everything going on somewhere in the mountains of Massachusetts or something. There was a cabin that got raided by the police and 3 people were taken out of it that they believe had to do with the terrorist thing. My wondering with our government is, what are they up to? This means something to me. Now, I hear all the people that knew him and everything thinking that they couldn't possibly have done it. They can. You don't know anybody that well. I know the older brother was married and had kids. Where is his wife and kid? Where are they? Thought we already have them. I'd assume we would have, first thing we would have went and grabbed them. We had his father in Russia. The Russian police services or whatever went in and grabbed him and questioned him. I understand the father may not believe his sons did what they did, if they did, but everything's real fishy here. Like I said, from what I saw last night told me something's deviated dramatically from what really happened. Now, are we holding them because we don't want to tip off their higher-ups that we have them and that, you know, we're getting information as to where the rest of the people are that trained them and taught them? That could be it. Ding, ding, ding. That's what I think. But our government's really weird about this stuff. Also, you know, there's the Geneva Convention and things like that, and rules of torture. Could it be that we're not saying we have him because we want to torture them, and we're saying he's dead so that we can torture him to death to get the information we want and never have to declare that we have him? U.S. CIA office is one there in Boston, you know, they're New York, you know, they're not that far away. CIA, I wouldn't doubt, would be doing something like that. After Abu Ghraib and all that stuff, and Guantanamo and all the stuff, the bad press they got for all the stuff they were doing trying to get information out of detainees, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't even declare we have them anymore and we just torture them until we get what we want. Not saying that's what's happening, but, you know, hey, I wouldn't put it past our government. In fact, I wouldn't put it past our government to do it to any one of you or me either. I've gotten to the point now where I have a very low belief system in our government, and I don't really believe that they are working for our best interests. I have my feelings on gun control. I believe the Second Amendment definitely needs to stand, and that includes AK-47s, M16s, AR-15s. I believe in that. For the simple, I mean, I understand buying a gun, background check, that's fine. But I believe that you should own guns and not to hunt and not to even defend your home, which is good reasons to have them. But I think the Second Amendment was put there to protect us from our own tyrannical government, which will become tyrannical. Any government that has as much power as the United States of America and as much money behind them and stuff like that, and you know, it's real easy for a government like that to turn on its people. And that's why we need our guns, because it's really hard to suppress us when several million people rise up with AK-47s and AR-15s and decide to attack their government and throw them out of office. In fact, we have a constitutional right to overthrow our government in that situation where they're working against our best interests. So again, like I said, it's to me, I think something's very fishy about this. I leave it to you guys to discuss this. You can make comments here. I'm not going to delete anybody's comments unless you're doing personal attacks on people for no stupid reason. I mean, if you're talking about the real situation and your beliefs, that can be against my beliefs, or you know, you can call me an idiot. I don't care. But my basic thing is the fact of what I saw last night on live camera. Now I've seen that they've edited that. They're not showing them move him to the car naked. They're not showing, you know, any of that stuff. All they're showing him is laying on the ground and saying, oh, we don't know if he's dead or alive. And he didn't look injured at all. He didn't even limp. So that tells me I believe we have him in custody. As far as the other brother, I don't know if they got the other brother, and I'm not sure which. I think the younger brother was the one that they picked up off the ground, stripped naked, and put in the car. It could be the older brother. So I'll just for argument's sake, I'll say it was the older brother. Either way, that guy didn't die at the hospital. You could tell when they moved him to the car, he was in good physical condition. He was not injured in that sense. And I don't care what they say. The other brother, they didn't show. I didn't see whether they, you know, whatever happened with that. So he might have got away. They might be looking for him. They might have them both and just be questioning them right now and getting intel on who trained them and who taught them how to make bombs and all this stuff. I do find a few weird things. One's going to MIT. Why would you throw away an education like that at one of the top schools in the world to go bomb? It makes no sense to me. I don't know. The other one, you got a wife and kid, and what are you, nuts? You know? But I mean, even though, like, I'm not saying they didn't do it, I think there's a lot more to this story than we're getting. I'd like to know more. I'm not one that put any trust in our media and no trust at all in our government. So I don't trust either at all. So therefore, I question everything I see on the news, everything my government officials tell me. I question. And if you don't, you're a sheep. I don't care who you are. I don't care how good your government is. You could be in Thailand. You could be in Russia. You could be in London. England. You could be anywhere you want to be. If you just take on blind faith everything you're told, then you are a sheep. In this world, don't trust anything you see and only half of what you hear. Sorry, I get that one backwards. Don't trust anything you hear and only half of what you see. Okay? So, by that, if any intelligent person is going to question anything they're told and, use basic logic, and if something doesn't make sense to you, question it more. And I'm questioning this big time. I don't really, like I said, I could believe two young guys, even with the MIT education and everything like that, falling into this whole terrorist thing and bombing and doing something like that. I can believe that can happen. I have no doubt in that. So they very well could be the ones doing it. My real argument here is that I don't believe that the one's dead. I think they have a live one in custody. And because of that, if our government came back to us in a couple of weeks and said, yes, we had him in custody, we kept it quiet so that we could get more intel on the other terrorists who trained them and where the link is, and so we could bust the rest of them. Okay, I don't have a problem with that. If you claim he's dead just so you could torture him, I have a problem with that. I have a real problem with that. That's where I come off. Another thing is I'm seeing people posting a thing around the internet about a guy in a cowboy hat who had lost. Who knows how real it is? It's showing up on Facebook. I know what's real is the picture of the guy with his legs blown off being pushed in the wheelchair with the guy in the cowboy hat holding his arteries. I know that's real. I've seen it, and I have a few issues with this. One is I don't know if the story's true about the guy in the cowboy hat losing both his kids, one in Iraq and one to suicide because of it. If that is, man, my heart goes out to you, as a father. That's a really tough thing to have to deal with, and my hat's off to you, sir. I mean, you're a hero for what you did. Even without the backstory, you're a hero just for helping that man and saving his life, holding his arteries for him. My other issue with that picture circulating Facebook is that I think I understand for hope and for showing the man for what he is and everything is great. The victim whose legs are blown off, I think we should show more respect to, and we should black out the actual legs, blur them at least something. I don't think we should be showing that. For one, the embarrassment of the victim. He might not feel too nice that everybody's seeing that. Him at his worst moment in his life, I wouldn't want people seeing that of me. Let alone he might not even want to see it himself when he recovers. And another big one is I don't think our children should have to see that. And as a terrorist, that's exactly what they want. If this is a terrorist act, then obviously they want it to terrify people. And we're allowing them to do that by showing images like that to our children. Our children, it changes them. I myself have seen horrific things in my life of, people killed. I've seen, all kinds of bad. Every time you see that, it changes you. You're never the same. It's like a soldier going to war and having to watch people die around him or killing somebody for the first time. You're changed for life. And I think we should take into account for that and not show these images to our children. We know how horrific it is. We understand what happened. When an adult hears that, victims' legs were blown off, it hit home. Believe me, we know what it is. We don't have to see the images. I think our children shouldn't have to see that. It makes them, makes them feel unsafe in their own country, and that's exactly what the terrorists want. So if you want to help the terrorists, then post pictures like that. I say we can post that discussion about him and his heroicness and what he did. We can discuss all that, but we don't have to show the shock value image, which is exactly what it is. It's just for shock value. Don't show it. Take it off the internet. Anyway, so that's kind of my whole thing, and I hope you guys got some as. But again, I have major questions about this whole thing, and about the man who was moved to the car naked last night. How come nobody's even asking anybody about this? How come there's not more banter on the media about, whoa, what happened to the guy moved naked to a car? My phone going off as always in every video I make. Figures, right? But that's you, Nick, so I'll talk to you here in a minute, alright, bud? Anyway, but yeah, this is my concern. I don't like it when my government and media lies to me. I do understand if there was, immediate need for this to capture the people and not tip them off, that we were onto them, that it trained these people. Obviously, if they believe that one got away and one's dead, then nobody's talking yet. But I'm sure these guys are packing the move the second they knew all this shit was going down. Probably the minute you put their pictures up on the news, which is a good thing, because it tips everybody off on who to look for. That's right. Should have done it a little quicker, actually, the higher res ones, if you could. But again, hey, wait. Anyway, that's the way it works, and the media putting it up real quick was great, but I don't really believe everything I'm hearing now. Supposedly, they're talking about there's new shootings, shots being heard by CNN correspondent right now. So that could be that they're saying they found the second one. Maybe they'll even say they killed him. Again, I don't believe the one that I saw move to the car is dead. I do not believe. So yeah. So you got to question this kind of thing, right? This is coming from my home state, so it really hits home for me that this is going on up there and in Cambridge. Yeah, it's unbelievable. Alright, so that's weighing out. I think I talked for too long. 17.5 minutes is way too long. So you guys have a good night, and I hope everything feeds out. But I hope I hit some ears and people start asking some questions. Peace.